how do black men receive you? Yeah, it's one of them.
Someone made this comment. This one black guy said,
Let me hear it.
I could tell that you only date white guys.
Men.
Yeah. And so I said, well, if that was the case, I wouldn't be single. I'm always around them. Mm-hmm. Why am I single? Mm-hmm. You know, no, it's not the case at all. Like, I date anybody. Yeah. Honestly, like, I'm open. Yeah. I'm a big advocate for dating outside of your race. Right. But I didn't say date a bunch of white people. No. Mm-hmm. That's a culture that we all know. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about dating outside of your culture, like Hispanic, Latino, like Chinese, like Japanese, like, you know, Laos, like Hawaiian. Like, I advocate people to date outside their race because it's a whole different experience. We live in a bubble. And it's so good to date outside of your race, just to experience that lifestyle. I'm not talking about dating someone just because of their skin color or because they have a different accent. No, I'm talking about mindset wise. Like, they have a whole different lifestyle, a whole different way of living and culture. And it's so cool to experience that.
Someone balling on my ex. I'm getting money, I ain't responding to your text. I can never let a bitch see me sweat. Fuck a little life, bitch, you know I'm blessed. And I'm still getting money, ain't no changing. When you block me, I take that as entertainment. When I turn up, I know that's gonna make you angry. In my bed, so I'm feeling kinda dangerous. I'm so glad I got my own. Still getting money with the team.
What's up? This is the ChoppedByT podcast where we give real, raw, authentic conversations. I'm your host, T. And to the right of me, I got a special guest. We went through a lot to get you on here, but we're here now. You don't know we went through a lot, but I've been going through a lot today to get you on here and get everything squared away so we can have a great episode. We got Nita.
What's good? Hey.
How you feeling?
Feeling great.
I meant for you to give us some hand claps new, but it's all good. You know, we'll give it. No, you don't have to give it to her, brother. Yeah. We got new in the back recording too. He
got some raw hand claps.
Yeah. We'll just give you some regular old hand claps. We don't have to add it in. But I want to jump right into it. How are you?
I am great. I'm great because I am here today on the show. I feel so honored to be a part of this. This is actually my first podcast, so gamed.
And I must say, you are way more comfortable than people that normally come on this show. Because when they see all the lights and the camera and all that, they get all nervous and like in their shell. But you good though.
Confidence.
Confidence. What gave you that confidence though behind the camera and stuff like that? Do you have a history of being behind the camera?
No.
No, not at all.
It's all about perception. Like, you know how you normally talk to yourself or to people. It's no different. No different from when you're watching any of the live interviews or Jimmy Kimmel and all that stuff. And it's just confidence, just having a normal conversation with someone and pretending that the cameras aren't there.
Yeah. So, yeah. I know it's awkward for a lot of people because
it's the fear of saying something wrong.
Yeah, I don't care. Like, I just live in a space where I no longer care. I said I wanted to give real, raw, authentic conversations on here, and that's what I'm going to do. Like, always and forever, as long as the camera's in front of me. And I may say something that's offensive, but I encourage people to
Well, you a Sag, so y'all do that.
Yeah, and also I just encourage people to educate me whenever I say something wrong. You know, I'm not in this we can debate, but just educate me. And I'm like water. I'm actually like fire.
I'm so curious to know your rising and your moon sign.
But I'm actually, I don't know I think my moon sign is Aquarius.
Makes sense. Yeah, that's an air sign, flow.
Yeah, I'm more like that. I just whatever situation I'm in, I can cope or just be a part of that situation. Not as like fake or fraud or anything. Yeah. Just like adapt to my situations, I guess.
I'm curious to know if you got Gemini in you, because Geminis are known for adapting and they're great at communication, you know, and you might have a bit of both of that yin and yang, because Sag and Gems are opposites, and you could have that compatibility. The fact that you're able to adapt too. And I love the drive, by the way. I give you props for that.
Yeah, the drive? What?
Yeah, the fact that you had so much going on, but you still kept the show going. You could have been like, sorry, we're going to have to reschedule.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not me. Nah, that's not.
I admire that.
Yeah, that's not my mentality. Like, you know, I was in the military 9 years too, though. So I think that got a big part of it. Like, And I do. I always want to quit. I got so many things going on in my life at this moment, and I think we all do. You know.
But it's the fact that you just don't show it.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes you a true, human being, person, a genuine person. If that, you don't let the baggage take over you as a person.
Yeah.
You just keep the ball rolling and, deal with it.
Yeah. I always tell Roscoe, and Roscoe, my co-host, he not here. If y'all wondering why Roscoe not here, it's because he a fuck nigga. Nah, it's actually because
just throw him under the bus.
It's actually because he had to get a COVID test. He didn't know if he had COVID or not, so he had to make sure he got a test and everything. So that's why he's not here right now. But I tell him all the time, when, in conversation when we talk and everything, I was just like, dude, like nothing can stop me at this point. Like I won't allow anything to dictate, what I want to do. And it's just been like that since a kid. I think my mother told me, I think my mother told me not too long ago, she said that, once you got your mindset on something, it's like no stopping. I know everybody say that, but that's
it's
really
good
the
though.
case for me.
Yeah, it's a good energy drive that you need to have anyways to stick out, to be that person. Like I told myself, look, I got my college degree. I need to do something with it. I'm not trying to go back to serving, no offense. I spent my serving days in college, and now I'm like, you know what? I have this degree now. I have no excuse. I need to be putting out those applications. Like, I need to have an actual job, like, that will support me or something I'm passionate about or levels me up as an individual,
Right.
Either or. I'm not going to stay somewhere where it's not making me grow as a person.
Yeah.
So
Well, let's talk about that. You went to MTSU.
I did. I went to MTSU, got my music business degree and my minor in marketing. And glad that I graduated.
Dope. Yeah. And so we talked about it off camera. You ended up not really, liking the thing that you were doing for, your reasons or whatever. And you can talk about your reasons if you want to.
Yeah.
But what do you do now?
So, yeah, I went to school for music business, got my minor in marketing. My original goal was to work in the music industry and work my way up, to work with A-listers and be known in that area. I love the pop culture. I like the fact that in front of the camera you see one thing, but behind the scenes is what intrigues me.
Right.
That goes for anyone that's in the pop culture industry. And I just want to be involved in that. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew I had this mindset that I wanted to make a change.
Right.
I always want to make a long-term change in the industry. No different from someone who created Spotify, no different from someone who created or enhanced something in the concert realm,
Right.
because it's a whole world behind that whole scene.
Absolutely.
Like, people just think concert, artists and the musicians, but it's so much more to it. It's like the tech people, the lighting, the staff and crew, the people who put the foods on the table for behind the scenes, the green room and all that. So there's so much that goes to it, and I just am so fascinated by it, and I just want to make a difference in whatever aspect. And that was my dream goal. And I figured, well, maybe if I get a job at WME, which is William Morris Endeavor, it's a talent agency here in Nashville, one of the biggest. And then there's CAA, which is Creative Artist Agency, and that's one of the biggest. And I wanted to at least get a job in there. The second I graduated, COVID hit. And I was like, well, I'm not going to get a job in that field. And most people probably might be like, well, I guess I should just go home. And home is Ohio for me, and I'm not going home. No offense.
Yeah.
And it could have been that, or it could have been get a job in the serving industry, or get a job in the government field. And I just, no, it was a no for me. I was like, I need to do something that will help me grow as a person. So thank God I got a job got my minor in marketing, because marketing is what really helps. I got a marketing job at a third-party industry that's involved with AT&T services.
Gotcha.
So I at least did that for a while. I lasted a month.
Yeah.
Honestly, I never quit a job until I have a job, but that actually pushed me into doing my own thing, because basically I was selling product door to door for the fiber thing that was popular for AT&T services, and doing door to door sales sucks sometimes because
it's kind of dangerous.
Yeah, I gotta chase my dogs. Yeah. I was like, you know what? and the hours kind of sucked because it was basically a 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. and there was no room to be creative. There was no room to thrive and do something more for myself, because I'm a Cancer sign, and all Cancers know, if we're not doing anything creative, we'll die.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I have to do music, or I have to do something, drawing, picture, something artsy. That's the weirdness in me. And so I had to leave that job the moment they basically told me, like, oh, you're not going to, be promoted in this field for a month because of your attitude. My attitude was I was very nice to my clients. We're supposed to sell to our clients the day of, like get them to buy the product the day of. That's the whole purpose of the business, is impulsive selling. And I don't agree with that, because if someone's coming to my door, I'm not going to want to buy anything right off the bat. That's impulsive. Like, right. I need to think about it. I need to see if this actually works for me before I put my money into something, you know? And so I give my clients 3 days to think about it. That was my mindset. How about I treat them the way I would want to be treated? Yeah. And so the moment they told me they weren't promoting me because they were afraid it's going to hurt their sales, I was like, you know what? I'm done. Yeah, I resigned. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to take the risk and open up that door. I don't know what's behind that door, you know, and just manifest and make sure I'm driven. And so basically I just decided to apply to a bunch of places, heard nothing back. And I was like, you know what? This 2-year hobby I was doing, taking photos on my phone, I'm going to just turn it into a business, you know?
Okay, so iPhone photography.
Yes.
iPhone photography.
I'm kind of hoping that I'm able to like send you some of my photos and you can just like edit and like put it on the side or something of my work.
No. We definitely got that. Yeah, no, we got that. I already got a couple of them. You DM'd them to me and everything, so we got those photos for sure. And we'll add them in. You know, we'll add that and your social media, and Demo will do that through the editing and all of that.
Because most of the time when I tell people I do iPhone photography, they're just like, huh? Yeah. They literally picture like the worst case scenario of photography. And I understand, I get it, because, you know, sometimes that is what it looks like. But my skill set is Lightroom. I edit everything in Lightroom. There's no secret. I take photos on my phone. I don't touch the f-stop. I don't touch the aperture, because that's the norm for when you take photos on an actual camera. But no, I think the iPhone does a really great job on automatic mode, and I just shoot from there, and then I edit everything on my Lightroom. I think that's where my skill set is the eye and then editing. So, and it pays off. I do so much when it comes to like the different stuff that you can do for photography. There's vintage photography, there's car photography, there's wedding photography, there's lifestyle photography, fashion photography, artist photography, musician photography, and they all have different aspects because they have a different purpose when it comes to editing. I do cinematic photography. Absolutely. And that's all Polaroid photography. Like, some people are thrown off by you can actually take Polaroids on your iPhone, and I advocate for that, you know? And so that's exactly why I tell people I'm an iPhone photographer, because most photographers shoot on their camera. But if I say iPhone photographer, it gives people the ability to think that, oh, I can do this too, you know? And a lot of people do tell me, Nita, why don't you tell people your secret? Like, you don't want anyone else to steal your idea. And I'm like, what idea? It's no different from a guitarist. Like, we remember the great guitar players, Eddie Van Halen, Jimi Hendrix, but, you know, we're not going to forget them because they're really great at what they do. They're skillful at what they do. Meanwhile, everybody and their mama can take guitar lessons. No one's going to steal that from them.
Even this, like, you know, you can get a podcast. A lot of people got a podcast.
Yes.
You got to be able to bring that energy to it.
Yes.
Your style is your style. So, no, I definitely, like I said, we talked off camera, and we talked about how your approach is to the business and everything. You said that you took the approach of the way Netflix originally did. You start off with like low cost options and draw people in, and as you go,
create a loyalty fan base.
Exactly.
But that's the marketing side. The music business side, like, I incorporate what my major was. My major was in music business, and so I use my music business mindset of what is something that is messed up, wrong, or bad that can be fixed. Right. If you can fix it, then there's a profit somewhere. There's something you can sell there. And so I use that technique, which is everyone needs high quality photos for their Instagram, for their business, for their small business, for their brand, you know? And so high quality photos are expensive, like the really good ones. And so knowing that my quality is really high quality and really good, I made it cheap. And the marketing side is I made my prices reasonable and quick, and I made sure that message was out there. So not only that you get cool photos at reasonable prices, but you get those photos in 1, 2, 3 days rather than waiting a week or 2 weeks or a month.
And you know something, I'm actually invested heavily in the market. So, you know, most of my friends are. We all kind of like in the stock market. And one thing that I look for when I'm looking for companies to invest in is disruptive companies. And I think that's something that you just, with your idea and your approach to this whole thing, that's something that you currently do. So it's, you know, you take something, I say, hypothetically speaking, Tesla is very disruptive to the car industry. So the way that you approach this is like, I'm gonna provide these photos. They'll be at an affordable cost. They'll be high quality. I want to come in and disrupt this market because it's something that goes with photography, that like a prestige or something like that that people consider with photography. So you gotta have the nicest camera. You gotta have
Right. So many people say that I spend 10 grand on different lenses to create the same look that you're doing, but you just do your iPhone and you're just worried about your cell phone plan. I'm like, exactly.
Right.
It's true. Like that's exactly why I'm making sure that everyone knows that I'm an iPhone photographer, because it's expensive in the photography world, you know, and they feel like you need this expensive stuff to create that great look, which is obviously not the case. And so that's why I'm trying to enlighten others rather than being, oh, I'm an iPhone photographer, I'm cool, that's it. No, like I do this and I do all these different types of editing styles, because most camera photographers actually need a specific lens to do weddings, to do car, to do lifestyle, to do landscape. You need specific lenses for them, but I do all that with my iPhone.
You don't.
Yeah.
So to all the photographers watching this, step your game up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're spending all
Exactly.
this money.
Exactly. And eventually at some point I'm going to have to like train people, because a lot of people do hit me up for that service and I would be stupid to not take that advantage. But yeah, and you can learn on YouTube. Like it's a thing. Like I actually went to LA for 5 days just 2 weeks ago and spoke with Apple. I had a meeting with some people that are underneath them. And so they got my contact information and sent it to Apple. And I have an artist profile underneath, which is great, because that's the only way that they can recognize you for your work, is if you have an artist profile underneath them.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead. I wish we got New over here working the switchboard. He don't know the hand clap. We're just gonna give you a hand clap by ourselves. That's
Nothing better than the raw sound.
We're gonna give you a hand clap by ourselves. It don't matter. So you said you were from Ohio. What part of Ohio?
I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Oh, Cincinnati. When I was driving trucks, I used to travel through Cincinnati a lot. Not stopping at anything, just straight through. Going like, so it's something about people from Ohio, specifically black people from Ohio, right? Just Ohio in general, and let me know again if this is safe to say. I think when I think of Ohio, a lot of the time, especially black people, I think of the Trippie Reds. I think of all these types. They have like this rock star thing about them, and they're appreciative of the rock star element. And that's what you have about yourself. Is that false? A lot of kids. I knew a girl from. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
I knew a girl from Ohio once that I still know her.
Yeah.
She was big into like rock and roll or the rock star look and everything like that, the darker colors and stuff like that. And that's something that you have about yourself.
Dude, I think that's alt rock black people. There's this, I thank God for TikTok, because TikTok has exploded a lot of like different types of people out here in this world. The underground people that you'll never see on like daytime TV shows or something like that. Honestly, my whole vibe just came from just being by myself here independently in Nashville. All my family's in Ohio, and I've been living in Tennessee for 7 years by myself, like independently. I don't have family out here at all, and I think it just grew amongst that. And I mean, when I was younger, I was still kind of like living in Ohio. I was still kind of the outcast. I'm not gonna lie, I was the outcast.
I can see that. That's good though. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, and only because like I don't know, I'm an open-minded person. That's also the Cancer me. I've met a lot of Cancer people, and they're kind of the same. They're known as the hippies or whatever, or, you know, out of the box. But yeah, I like own it, you know, and I'm cool with it, and I am able and honestly, I feel like my style, because I get told a lot that your style kind of reminds me of like, oh my gosh, Tina Turner, or like some people like Fran from that show The Nanny. If you've ever seen that or heard of it, The Nanny.
The Nanny, I just don't remember Fran.
Fran, she had the nasally voice. That's what she was known for.
Oh, okay.
And the big hair.
I got you.
And so a lot of people tell me, you look like you got the 80s hair. Like, it looks so cool and all that. And so I stand out. But here's the trick. It's all business and marketing. I go to these rock shows all the time. 9 times out of 10, I'm the only black chick there. Which is great. But I have a business. And so I stand out. So when they see me and they know me, they're like, oh, that's Nita. Easy to remember. No offense. They're not going to remember a Chelsea or a Madeline or, you know. So I stand out, and I want to make sure I stand out. And so that also draws attraction to me, because they come up to me and they're like, hey, who are you? What are you about? They kind of want to get to know me. And so that's kind of like the style marketing niche that I do to look approachable and liking. And also I try to stick up for the black chicks too. Like, you can have cool tattoos, you know, and have a business of your own and be respected, because well, now people don't care, but back in the day, if you wear tattoos, you're like, Yeah,
We
yeah.
got a lot of them. We full of them.
You understand.
Yeah.
So I try to make it look cool. You could be like that, professional, and have this prettiness to you, you know, this vibe in a business manner, you know. And so I try to stick up for that too, like. And I wear hair extensions. I don't care. They're clip-ons. I'm too lazy for weave. No offense. So this is half of my hair. Like my actual hair goes to my shoulders. So, but yeah, like I do this all the time, and I just gravitate everything that I've learned and experienced, and I kind of put together, and I just find myself like, this is who I am. This is the person that I've become, and no biasness from my family, no biasness for friends. Like this is just straight up who I am as an individual, and I keep styling myself every time. Like you know.
So you were like this before you came to Tennessee, right?
I was, but I wasn't able to express that.
I got you.
And then I was able to express it when I became more on my own.
Absolutely.
Thank God for college.
So same here. Same here.
Forced me away from fam.
So the family back home, how are they? What are they like? You know, niggas.
Well, I mean, my mom's a little different. She's more reserved, and she does not like to cuss in front of us. She's more of the prep mom, like preppy kind, but not really. Like she has her side. She's a Scorpio, so she's very reserved. Like, but she's more of class, you know, because you know she wants to make sure we grow up with that mentality of being able to turn it on and turn it off. You ever heard of that expression? You know, like when you talk to certain people, you talk to them in a certain way, and then it's like that telephone like voice, like this is my telephone voice. And then you have your friends back at home where you talk different, but you still speak English, you know, it's just sound different, you know?
Hey, what they call it, code switching?
Yeah.
That's me.
So that's my mom. Like she taught us that to kind of be that way. And on top of that, I grew up in daycare full of white kids.
Yeah.
And then I grew up in daycare full of black kids. So it's like I was able to accommodate both and learn how to be both. And honestly, that's why I respect Gemini so much, because they have that capability of adapting. You can throw a white person in the hood. If he's a Gemini, he will adapt. Yeah. He has no problem of adapting. And it's because of the communication game. Yeah. We're really good at observing people and learning from them. I have Gemini in my sign. That's why I keep bringing up Geminis. I'm sorry. I love astrology because I use that like a map. I'm telling you, learn astrology, guys, because you can go to a corporate world. If you happen to know their sign, you have the benefit of communicating with them.
I can believe that.
It's true. If I'm dealing with a Sag, thank God all my best friends are Sages, because I know how to talk to them. I know what floats, or you know, that makes them, you know, feathered up or whatever. It's the same thing with Aries. If an Aries pisses me off, I'm not gonna take it personally because I know how they are. I know that's another thing. Perspective and not taking things personally will get you a long way in the business game. It will get you a long way, because the second you become emotional or take everything personally, you're gonna lose. And then honestly, people in that business mindset, they see that. They're very observant. They notice that, and they're like, okay, we found her weakness. Let's let her burn.
So what about your pops, man?
My dad is he's a Gemini too, and I kind of learned a lot from that too. He kind of has this personality that's a bit on the narcissist side, but I learned from that because a lot of people kind of stay away from narcissist people, but I'm different. I like to be around them a little bit, not enough to let them get to me, but enough to learn how to deal with them. Because just because they're narcissists doesn't mean they're not helpful. You know, some people that come into your life, they can be transactional, and some can be long term. You know, and you have to figure out who is transactional and who is long term in your life. Who's going to be beneficial for you for a short period, and who's going to be beneficial for you in a long term period.
It's branches, leaves, and roots.
Yes, it's business, honestly, too.
So I get called a narcissist a lot. What makes a narcissist, though? I'm wondering. Yeah. Because I think the people who call me narcissist, they're not valid, and I'm gonna tell you.
They're not valid.
Like their opinion is not valid because it's rooted in hurt. You know. Yeah. 9 times out of 10, if you call, it's not anyone I've met just in conversation with, speaking with, that call me a narcissist. Most of the time, it's people that I've hurt or done something to. And it's not if I wasn't a narcissist, I was just in a bad place at the time, maybe. Or maybe I was just being a bad person.
It's your actions that make you a narcissist.
Okay, so explain to me. Have you ever dated a narcissist?
Oh yeah, and I've dealt with different people that are narcissist people. They have this tendency to only kind of care about their wants and their needs and how this person is going to be beneficial. And then manipulation comes into play. Like, how can I manipulate this person, or how can I control this person to my benefit or to my liking, or whatever. And so that's what kind of like makes it narcissistic. But it's funny because like you kind of still have to have that main character aspect, like where who is this person beneficial to you? If they're not, they have to be removed out of your life.
Right.
So it's like a boundary line. But I guess where it makes more of a person narcissistic is their lack of empathy.
They don't care.
They just don't care. Like they don't care if you hurt if they hurt you. They don't care if it's gonna make you look bad. Like they just care about themselves, and everyone else can. It's like a dog-eat-dog world. That's their mindset.
Absolutely.
But people who are trying to like find their main character, like it's more of a self-love thing. Like I'm just trying not to destroy my mental health. No offense. Like that's what it is. And some people kind of get that crossed a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think it's important for people to understand, like, because words are so powerful. I think you will understand it as a creative more than anybody, how powerful words are. And words are so powerful. So when you put things out like that, when you call somebody a narcissist without fully being educated, that's why I had to ask you, do you know what a narcissist is? Or not do you know what a narcissist is, but how do you know if you do?
And there's different types of narcissist people. There's covert. I've learned this because I did research when I was hurt by one. There's like this covert narcissist is where it's not obvious, but you could tell like they only care about what's going to help them. And if you're not going to help them, they'll pretend like you just don't exist anymore. They just won't say it. They'll just ghost out of your life. Like, well, geez. But then there's the obvious people who are narcissistic. They're more like outward and, you know, it's obvious. And they'll say it. They're more flashy about it, you know. But those covert ones you have to watch out for. Like, there's different types of narcissist people. Like, you can look it up. There's like 7 types or whatever.
Yeah.
But
I know them. Because once I got called one so many times, I said, you know, let me check this out. Maybe it's true, though. I don't know. I don't run away. Like I told you, I don't run away from anything. It's not that I don't care. I think I care deeply, and I'm actually in touch with the universe, with the earth, with everything around me. I care too much. I think a lot of the times. I just had a little episode today, you know, that we could talk about off camera that kind of affected me. Or no, we could talk about it on camera. The reality is that right now I'm dealing with something with my mother. My mother has dementia and Alzheimer's. Ooh. So I'm dealing with that. And I'm not so much mad that not mad, but I'm not so much hurt or in my feelings that I'm losing my mother. It's more so that everybody else is losing my mother. You know, the energy that she brought, the leadership that she brought to the family, she was the matriarch of the family. Yeah. So I know with her, with my grandmother, she was the main matriarch, but she died, of course. And my mother came along and she, you know, picked up that baton. But now I know that we don't have that, and I just kind of slowly see the destruction of my family as a whole, and it hurts me.
It's one of those situations where it's definitely a tragedy that it sucks because it's inevitable. Right. And you have no control over it. The only thing that can help you in those situations is knowing how you're going to be able to recover from it and how you're going to be able to deal with it in a way that hopefully helps you as a person.
I think right now with me personally, how I got a son. You know, he
have a kid?
Yeah, he right here. You see him? Little mini me all over the house and everything.
How old?
My baby, he'll be 3 and on December the 11th.
Sad.
3 on
I did literally your mini me.
Yeah, I did
it on purpose.
I was like, I gotta get me a Sagittarius. I really did.
Maybe I should get a Cancer child.
I was like, March. Let me see. March. If I can get early March, he'll be Sagittarius. If I can get an early March, but like he, I mean, just I can't. Because in the past, I've exhibited destructive behavior whenever I was in a situation where I was hurt or something was going on.
Yeah, dealing with the tragedy. Yeah.
Whether it was destructive to the people around me, you know, myself or whatever. I just know that I can't do that right now because I have too much responsibility. I have him. Yeah. You know, I have people who look up to me who need me. So it's one of those situations where I'm like, that's why it's so hard for me to accept the fact that I'm a narcissist. And I don't run away from it. I'm not fighting it at all. Because if I am, I am. But it's like, it's hard for me to accept that because I literally wake up every morning, every day with other people's interests in mind.
Yeah, you actually have empathy. You actually care. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, maybe you're not necessarily a narcissist, you know?
I'm just crazy.
I've
been said that.
That main character syndrome might just need to be unchecked a little bit. At least you care, because narcissists, they don't care. it's like they care more about how it's gonna make them look, and if they look bad, then they care about themselves. See what I'm saying? How it just revolves right back on them. Yeah. Like it's only because they care about themselves and their situation. Other than that, you mean nothing. Yeah. And they find someone else who can benefit their needs and their wants, and they're good. There's no harm in the world. They have no guilt.
I think because we talked about this on one of the podcasts. I think it was with Mia. I don't remember the episode, but we talked about how Roscoe and them, they made a joke about me being a person that manipulate. Like they said I'm a manipulator. And I was like, is manipulation so bad?
If you use it for good.
That's why I said, like, if you use it for good, if it's something, and then I guess I said that on the podcast, and later on I thought to myself, well, like, okay, who deems what's good and what's bad? So in this moment when I'm assuming that when I'm manipulating this person and I'm thinking it's for the better, who's to say that that's the best for them? Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, maybe manipulation isn't a good thing. What do you think?
Well, I mean, that tactic is in sales all the time. Whether they say it or not say it, I learned the tricks and the techniques that we're supposed to do when it comes to, like, trying to get someone to buy a product. Yeah. That's manipulation to the T. Like, there's no way around it. They just don't say it. Right. They just say, oh, we're going to use this technique. Technique, you mean manipulation? But, I mean, it's used all the time. It is. We do it in marketing. We do it in business.
But
that's why I said.
Does it make it good, though? Does it make it...
If the product is if it's good for someone, or if it's in a need for someone, it's good. I mean, no different from, like, when you put a certain the candies in the beginning of the aisle, like, that's marketing, but it's still manipulation in a way. But I think that's a good way of manipulating. They do it all the time when it comes to law, being a lawyer, and you're in the courts. Like, they kind of have to manipulate the situation in order to make justice. You know, if they don't do that, they're not going to have any other way of going about it to make it look more sympathy towards the person that they're defending. See what I'm saying? So it's used all the time. It's just whether if it's for good use or bad use. Bad use, you're manipulating your best friend into doing something she doesn't need to be doing in the first place. That's straight up wrong.
Yeah, that's messed up. That's messed up.
So there is good and there is bad.
I probably done both of them. I have. I've had manipulated.
I did too.
Knew the person on the camera right now. He told me once when we first got to MTSU, he said, "Damn, bro, I'll never forget this too." He was like, "Damn, T, like, I just feel like if I never had met you, I would have been so much of a better person." I said, "What, nigga? What do you mean? Why would you say that? Like, that's not something to say." And he was like, "No, I said, no, you wouldn't have been no hoe."
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I'm like, okay. Nah, I probably did, push some of my bad ways on him. I don't think it was manipulation. I just think he seen it's my big bro. Yeah, I love him, and what he doing, I'm gonna do too. We're just gonna rock out with it.
That's his actions and his choice. It's not manipulation unless your words are actually being in use of the game. Yeah. But if he's just seeing what monkey see, what monkey do, that's not manipulation. That's just his choice.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. How do so wait, before
you're good.
All right, you date men, right?
Yeah.
Women too?
I mean, I am definitely straight, but I am open.
All right.
I will never say never, I'm one to want to experience stuff. Like, I literally told my friends earlier, like, I definitely want to know what it's like to have sex with a girl. Yeah. Just to know what that's like.
And you never have though, right?
I never have, and that'd be dope to experience, because I don't want to go in life and, like, wonder, I wonder what that would have been like. Right. And I know it goes against some religion because I consider myself more, I guess, spiritual. I like the idea of that someone is watching out for me because God, life could have been so much worse. And I pray and thank whoever is watching out for me. Like, oh my gosh, thank you. Like, I feel like I don't drink and I don't smoke. And I feel like there's a reason for it because my body can't handle it. Yeah. And so I take that advantage to have that one up when I'm networking because there's always those people that drink a little bit too much, and I have the advantage manipulation. I have the advantage of talking to them and having more of a superior conversation. Right. It makes me look more professional, and I can always drive someone home at the end of the day. That makes me a better person. I feel like, in a way, I
need friends like you because all us getting drunk. Everybody.
Because honestly, I like to separate the temporary feels from lifetime achievements.
Right.
I'm more on the lifetime achievement side. Temporary feels are like smoking, drinking, sex. So sorry, I love sex, but you know, it's a temporary. You know, and so many people get so distracted by their focus on that rather than their lifetime achievements. Because like for me, I could have been like, no offense, working as a serving job, trying to figure out when my next boyfriend is, you know, but instead, or going on dating apps. But instead I was like, no, I'm gonna, you know, start this job, make sure I better my marketing, better my messages, read books on marketing, learn on YouTube. YouTube's your best friend. So my focus turned more on that than being focused on dating apps, you know. It's a distraction. It's temporary feel. And so I literally, that's how I was able to become an iPhone photographer for a living. And it only took me a year. I shot at the Ryman Auditorium. I traveled to LA twice. Like, that's just such a great opportunity. I never saw myself in LA. Like, I've learned from people that I've worked with who are country artists, and they have spots here in LA. They have here in Nashville, here in LA. And so they're able to travel back and forth, and they tell me, Nita, your services are great. A lot of people in LA is going to want your service. And I said, well, I don't have money to just go to LA. You know, and he said, he gave me the best advice. He said, literally, look it up 3 or 4 weeks ahead of time. You can get cheap plane tickets there and back for less than $200. And I was like, bet. And so I literally looked it up and did it. And I traveled, and I can continue to do that as long as I save up some money on the side and make sure I got a rental car when I get there. I'm set. And that's what the thing I'm going to start doing, because now I create a foundation in LA as well. And I went to Apple, and they know me down there now. They're like, okay, Nita from Nashville, okay. You know, and a lot of friends down there like my services too. But getting off topic, but yeah, I date guys, and I've became more cautious and aware too, because I think when I was dating a lot at the time, I've kind of calmed down 2 years from now, but I've been dating a lot at the time, and I've realized that it's the same pattern. And I've realized, why am I only attracting these type of guys? And I've come to find out it's kind of me. I'm kind of attracting them to me and not realizing what I want, because I was always confused. I thought, well, you know, life is young, days are short. I'm down to just, you know, hook up just to hook up. But then when I hook up with these guys, I'm just like, well, I kind of care. I want more. Give me more. I deserve more. And then they look at me crazy like, who, what, like, this is what you asked for. And I'm just like, and I get heartbroken. And I realized too, myself, when I get heartbroken, it takes me 2 months to recover. And I don't have 2 months to waste to worry about dudes that don't matter. You know what I mean? And so I've really calmed down from that, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just focus on me. If someone comes around that is a man, because I'm not gonna lie to you, I've heard about the 4 quadrants when it comes to dating. You're either dating a boy, you're either dating a confused man, you're either dating a player, or you're dating the man. And I never dated the man. The boy does not have to be literally a boy. A 65-year-old man can still be the boy. Right. He's a guy who low-key is codependent on females and doesn't necessarily respect all females and, you know, doesn't really have a drive or you know, an area in his life where he needs to be focused on and can't take care of himself. You know, he kind of relies on women. I've dated tons of those guys, and I've realized not all men are trash. It's because of who I'm choosing to date. That's the boy. That is technically the trash right there, and that's my choice.
And it's all about boundaries too. I think in the moments, if you kind of like set your boundaries in the moments in the beginning, that a lot of the times those, you know, I think with men or with just a male or period, just anytime you're dealing with us, it's all about what you do in the beginning. Yeah. It's like, if you set the boundaries, if you give me the choice of either you're going to be a man to me or you're going to be a boy to me or whatever the case is, that's how we'll adjust.
It's the red flags. It's true. Like, you have to catch what you're wanting to. And yeah, you're right. Exactly. If that's what you're wanting, then that's what you're going to get. You know, you can't really even take it personally at this point because you put yourself in that position, you know? And so and then like when it comes to the confused man, he could have himself together, but still very indecisive about if he wants long term or if he wants short, you know? And you have to watch out for that. You have to look at those flags. You have to look at his actions, the way he's talking. That's why I guess now I've come to terms. That's why you have to wait, wait it out to see like what they're giving off, you know, how they're acting.
And also, I think, because I don't know what stage of life I'm in right now. I think I'm more so confused because me and the mother of my child, we actually, you know, I am a man, I do man things. I handle my responsibilities as a man. I try to be very respectful in regards to when I'm dealing with women or anybody. Yeah. So, but I am a little confused because I think I love so hard, and when I love someone, and it takes a lot for me to love a person. So, but when I do love a person, I love hard, right? And I know that's cliche. Everybody says I love hard, but I really do. So because I love hard, I get into these situations and I don't know how to love in any way except giving a person some control over me. And it doesn't have to be complete control. You don't dictate my life or anything like that, but control in the sense of if we're on bad terms and I love you, you can dictate my emotions and how I feel. You can make my week a bad week if you choose to do that. And I think when I gave that power, I just told the mother of my child just the other day, I said, I gave you power. I gave you the power. You had it right in the palm of your hand, and instead of using it wisely, you chose to just I don't know what she chose to do, but it wasn't using it wisely. I don't want to say if she did the wrong thing or what, but it's just you didn't use this in the right way. Yeah.
Do you agree with the concept of Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith when it comes to relationships? They say that you have your viewpoints, you have your mindset, you have your choices in life, and your growth style. And the other person has the same thing. They come together. Do not let any of them dictate their feelings, their emotions, their happiness. You provide your own happiness, not that person. So when you said something about the perception of her taking control of how you feel sometimes, far as that style, do you agree with that being a thing for your relationship? Because I try so hard to not let someone else dictate my happiness.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, well, first of all, obviously something is working right with Will and Jada. Something is working right. But I think it's all specific to the person because that may work for them, but
true.
It may not be the same thing for me. I think I'm in a state right now where I just don't know what works for me.
That's where you're trying to figure it out.
I'm just trying to figure it out. But I do know that I am the type of person that I don't submit. Well, I do submit, but I don't submit, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I'll explain. So I can submit in certain ways. I can be that person to make the sacrifices and do all those things for you. Yeah. But I won't be a fool for anyone. You know what I mean?
Wait. What's your description of being a fool? Everyone's is different.
Right. So, all right, in any situation, right? Let's say I won't do anything that's harmful to me, people around me, or just, my community as a whole. I won't do anything that's harmful in that way. So if you tell me, I'll be submissive towards you. I'll do things like get you something to eat when you want to eat. I'll help you out in this. I'll do that. I'll love
being
you.
Caring.
Right. Yeah. So, but what I won't do is go and, kill somebody for you. I guess that's an extreme, but you know what I mean? I won't do anything that jeopardizes myself, my people, or my community.
Yeah, because you're realizing it's you have your own identity and you know your limits. If you go past your limits, it's like a questionable thought of, do I know who I want and who I am and whatever? You're crossing your own boundaries. Yeah. It's so important to have those boundaries because you're still an individual person. Right. The moment you lose those boundaries, when that relationship is done, you're lost. Yeah. So it's important that you at least keep that. So that's okay. I agree.
How do black men receive you? Yeah. It's one of them.
Someone made this comment. This one black guy said,
let me hear it.
I could tell that you only date white guys.
Men.
Yeah. And so I said, well, if that was the case, I wouldn't be single. I'm always around them. Why am I single? No, it's not the case at all. I date anybody. Yeah. Honestly. I'm open. Yeah. I'm a big advocate for dating outside of your race. Right. But I didn't say date a bunch of white people. No. That's a culture that we all know. I'm talking about dating outside of your culture. Hispanic, Latino, Chinese, Japanese, Laos, Hawaiian. I advocate people to date outside their race because it's a whole different experience. We live in a bubble. And it's so good to date outside of your race, just to experience that lifestyle. I'm not talking about dating someone just because of their skin color or because they have a different accent. No, I'm talking about mindset wise. They have a whole different lifestyle, a whole different way of living and culture. And it's so cool to experience that. But that's what I advocate. But you know, I date whoever, whatever.
Yeah.
As long as they treat me right. Like, I'm weird, I guess. If an alien comes into town and he treats me right, bruh, I will date that person. I will date that alien. I don't care. Like, it's just all about experiencing life. That's how I live. I try to experience life. And
reason I ask because I can see black men actually being
they're probably intimidated. Definitely.
That's the first thing I was gonna say. Intimidated is one thing for sure.
Yeah.
I can see them being intimidated by you, and also just not understanding of what, especially black men specifically from this area, not understanding what they see or what they're looking at in this moment, because they see this girl with this big hair, or this woman, I'm sorry, with this big hair, with these dark nails, with this dark lipstick, with tattoos everywhere. It's like, wait a second. And you don't speak like, when you open your mouth, you don't like, you know, bitch, you don't, that. It's like, what?
Stereotypes.
But I love them too.
Stereotypes. I hate stereotypes. No, I know what you mean.
I love them women.
But there's so many different types of black women out there.
Exactly.
That's why I try to advocate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We black people, first of all, aren't like just a certain type of person.
Yeah.
There's so many different versions of us. I mean, this room right now is a bunch of different versions of black people.
Yeah.
You got the criminal. You got I'm just joking. Like,
Got the criminal.
You when they see that, it's like, I don't know how to approach this person. You know what I mean? So that's the intimidation factor or whatever. What is it? Because I'm really curious about this. Like, I'm gonna keep pushing this one too.
No, you're good.
The black men, how do they approach you, if they approach you at all?
Some are just attracted to me because they're just. I mean, some are blatantly attracted to me, and they're just like, look, I'm just gonna be real. You know, they're like that, or some they just treat me like normal. Like it's all good. Yeah. I have this other thing to me too, where a lot of guys are comfortable around me. You know, I have the cool girl approach or whatever. But the second I challenge them, they're like, yeah, she's just a friend.
Men hate that.
Because some guys like things easy. You know, I learned that. You know, they like things easy. If you're complicated or challenge them in any way, they're like threatened, or they feel like you're not worth talking to.
Black men and white men hate being American black men and white men.
It's true.
Specifically, I know those two cultures very well. They hate being challenged by women.
Yeah, and challenge as in like, I have a business. I'm a sole proprietor. I make at least 800 to 1,000 a week. I'm just gonna be real, like just be open. I definitely could charge more, and it will come in time where I up my prices a little bit. You know, like Netflix approach. But some don't even have a car. Some don't even have a stable job. Some have a job they just don't care about, and they don't know what to do with their lives. And all they care about is the temporary things. Like they care about drugs, alcohol, and you know, females. Who's the next chick that they're gonna bang, you know? That's not my mindset. You know, I'm lifetime achievement. Like I care about gaining knowledge every single day. That's what the brain is made for. It's also made for stimulation, but that's temporary. Like you can't just keep giving a kid candy the first time and then the second time every single day. The candy is supposed to experience the sweetness, not every day. If you give it every day, you're gonna be fat. See what I'm saying? So it's all about control, and self-discipline is a big one that I've learned turning 25.
25. I give my 3 right toes to be 25.
Oh, my friends say that.
And that's only 3 years for me. You know, like time is truly precious. It is a virtue, and precious. It's the only thing in life that cannot be replaced. Time is that, and I think as I get older, I understand it even more and more, and that's why in those moments I don't choose to soak in my sorrows, the things that's hurting me or that's messing up. I push through. You know, and I think what you said is important. Discipline, and also having your business together, and that's something that you got.
Yes, and have in my business. This is not going into business marketing 101, but my business is connected to my personality. Right. So sometimes when people just like my personality, they don't care what I do. They just want to be a part of whatever business I got. You know, and that's kind of how my business works. Some people keep their personal life separate from their business, and so I put them together because it's an advocate for me. So that's why my style is important. The way I look, the way I handle myself, the way I talk. I can't be out here in these streets telling people I hooked up with X, Y, and Z because it's gonna make me look bad. Like it's gonna make me look like I'm just another female who don't know what she's doing and don't know, you know, don't have that reputation of being a slut. It's so easy to be represented like that in that industry.
Yeah. I'm hoping. I think it's been a change in that, don't you think? Especially for women. And I'm so glad of that. I don't like people who abuse movements, but I actually really support the Me Too movement and everything that it stands for, because it's like, it's about time that y'all kind of get y'all just due, women, and I don't just mean black women, especially black women, because I gotta vouch for my sisters every time, but all women, I really appreciate the fact that everybody getting their just due, and now people gotta, like, before you say this or before you get to talking about pussy this and being all extra, you gotta, like, consider, like, hey, can I get counsel for this shit? And it's kind of like that self-check now. Everybody has that self-check, no matter what level you're on, from top to bottom. You have that self-check, and I think that's important. And I love to see the fact that you, as a woman right now, you have this thing about you. I would have never guessed it, actually. I stress this on every show. Get your business together. Business.
It's the cap in me.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people don't have that business, that structure, that discipline, that business together. With us, you see it with us, is we have this, of course, all the equipment, so on and so forth, but it's also a well-oiled machine. It's things that go into posting on our TikTok. It's high volume times. It's how to post. It's the colors, how to make the colors pop on the picture, the caption,
subject, the conversation,
exactly,
the people that you brought into your show.
Even when you market, it's like, and marketing is who's the audience that you want to touch with this specific thing that'll make this thing go. So there's so many angles that you approach in this business thing, and I'm glad to see that you actually understand this one and you have it together. So
that's why I'm glad to be on the show, just to advocate, like, look, you can do it too. You don't have to be the stereotype. And I used to think, there's only like a few black girls that I know that's like, kind of like open. That's what I consider myself. I'm an open person. Like, everyone keeps saying, are you right wing or left wing? I'm like, bruh, no, I'm none of them. It's a lose-lose game. Like, it's a lose-lose game. I'm not choosing any of them. But it's important to know what's going on. Yeah. Because you don't want to have no knowledge of that or anything. But it's good to be open and have perspective, because I keep telling people, like, so are you friends with Trump supporters? Like, dude, before last year, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, look, if you Trump supporter, don't talk to me. I used to be like that. But honestly, now I'm more open and more smarter and brighter about this subject, that I don't care if you're a Trump supporter. Like, if you support my business, if you support my business, is helpful. But at the same time, it's all about perspective. Because you could live in a world where you don't see that other side, and that is why you chose that side. But that does not make you a bad person. Absolutely. It's just about what you see and what you hear and what you deal with. And if you on the other side, it's about what you see, what you experience, what you hear, and that's why you chose that side. But that does not make you wrong. Right. See? Like, everyone has a lose-lose side and everyone has a right side. But I don't get too deep into it.
I have no choice as a person, as a human being, but to be a tribal person, because that's what we are, a tribal people. But I'm with you on that. I don't subscribe to the cliques. I don't subscribe to the cliques. And I also don't subscribe. Open. Exactly.
It's good to be open in every aspect.
And from the tribe perspective, tribe doesn't always mean that you do one thing and that's all you do. Tribe just means I enjoy the group. I enjoy the camaraderie with the people around me. So I'm with you on that. Like, I was in the military too. Like, so you see a lot of that. Hell, you see racist people that's over you, that's in leadership positions.
I know, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Nothing you can do about it. It's just like, you have to accept that person. You have to accept that, he your soldier, he a brother in arms in the moments, and he has to as well. I think, and this is gonna be controversial, today's 9/11. I think 9/11 has been one of the more unifying things for our country in its history. If we just being honest, and this probably gonna be released way past 9/11, but and we normally don't say dates or try to talk about current events on the show just for that reason.
Make it all complicated.
Because we have so many podcasts and stores. This will probably be released in like a couple months or something like that, or a couple weeks or whatever. But like, today is 9/11. I think that unified people.
I was gonna say too that I think style is so important for everybody, because it does represent a little bit about you, and it represents who you are or who you're trying to become. Because every time when I go to a rock show or an event, it's kind of because of work, and also because that's kind of my foundation a little bit. Like, I was introduced. I was a sophomore in college, and someone hit me up, because I went to school for music business, so I'm open to any type of sound. Someone hit me up from Nashville and said, hey, I have this rock show going on. I would love for you to come out and see it. And I said, cool, dope. That's my first rock show. It's my sophomore year. I was like 22 or something, 21-ish or something like that. And so I went to this venue called The End, and it is literally a hole in a wall. Like, I walked in that, and it was a whole bunch of biker gangs in there, and I was just like, ugh, and I'm just in my college like outfit, kind of only black girl there, and it was whatever. I just walked in, pretend I owned the place, and I just chilled and listened to the music, and then that's how I created my group of friends there, and in that specific area. I have a different groups of friends. Like I said, I'm an open person. The more open you are, the more opportunities you gain, and so that's how that started for me, and ever since then I've pretty much been to almost every venue in Nashville consistently. But that also created a lot of people to see that is who I am and what I do, and it helped my business because I help with a lot of concert shoots. I do $80 for concert shoots where they get 1 minute video clip in 4K and 20 to 30 photos, and so it helps me out, give that reputation out for a lot of rock shows.
I just figured out that we can shoot 4K from my iPhone. Just probably like a week ago. Yeah, I just figured that out.
See, you're learning about something that you already have.
Yeah, and I've been had an iPhone for years now, so I felt kind of.
You can do movies on it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's exactly why I advocate the iPhone, so I could teach people what you can do on your iPhone. Like in case if you don't have the money, but you have the dream and the idea, you can do it. Like there's so many 16-year-olds and like 20-year-olds that are dreaming of doing something, and they have the capability of doing it and rising and gaining from it, and so that's exactly why I tell people I'm an iPhone photographer. I know it sounds silly and whack in the beginning, but
no, not at all.
They'll eventually get it when time comes on. They're just like, oh, look what we can do. Yeah, I told you.
So you talked about your first time going to a rock show was here. Is
here.
That like were you already introduced to rock prior to that?
I mean, I know I'm not the only black chick that liked Guitar Hero growing up. Like when I first played Guitar Hero when I was 12, I think I was 11 or 12 years old. I thought that was just music game, but it's an actual legit band. Like this happened in the 80s and the 70s. I had no idea. Like I was like, bruh, this is legit. I watched YouTube for hours for every song that I heard on Guitar Hero, and it changed my life. I was like, I was never introduced to this type of music, and so I grew up listening to Janet Jackson. Pretty much my mom's like music. Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson, and my mom like the Daryl and Hall was Hall & Oates. It's that band. That's the only like white band I was introduced at that time. But then I also grew up watching Lizzie McGuire and That's So Raven. And Hannah Montana, so I was Zack and Cody, and so I was introduced to that music as well. But I like that kind of music. I didn't care what genre it was. Like that's what makes me different from a lot of people. Like I'm open. I can't like any music that I listen to, it has to be like to the mood that I'm in. Right. Like when it's dark outside, I might be into some dark R&B, alt rock that's dark, or like rap. Not during the day. Like during daytime and I'm driving, it's sunny, it's probably gonna be acoustic. It's probably gonna be, it might be a little country. I kind of got into country a little bit. And it's like, it has to be happy daytime music for me, or whatever's on my repeat shuffle. But yeah, so like anytime I listen to any music, it's like the vibe that I'm in, because I know I'm not the only one that listened to Green Day. I know I'm not the only one listening to Paramore. Like we all listen to it.
Yeah, no, you're not. And just the thing is just like, I admire, well, I'm glad that you, because I was the same. It's so relatable, being able to come to college and really find out who you are, and that you experience. When you say that, I know exactly what you experience in those moments, because I had to put on a perception growing up to be this certain type of person. Who I mean, I was that person too, because I'm not. It's so many different ways,
versions of you too at the same time. Yeah,
exactly. So I was that person, but I had to be that person all the time.
Yeah,
But it wasn't until I got to college when I was able to just like take the time out to just relax.
So all these different personalities that you have. Because I definitely grew up listening to Sierra growing up. That was my chick. Like that Aaliyah, that whole realm. I grew up also listening to like 70s black music, like soul, funk. And then some black people today be like, why you listen to Earth, Wind, and Fire? Who that? Like, what do you mean who that? What do you mean who that? What do you mean? Like, it's just ridiculous to me. It's like, how were you not raised around this era? Like, I love this era. And then, like, some people make jokes and say, like, oh, 80s hairstyle. I see. I'm like, cool. I'm for that, too. Like, I respect that kind of style and that whole history. So that's cool to me, too.
It's important. All areas of the 80s is one of the most impactful decades, I'll say, to us right now. And the reason why I mean on both sides, because of the music, because of the lifestyle, because
it transitioned and evolved to what it is now.
Because of crack cocaine. Like seriously, that's one of the most like, because of that whole era right there, and just all the music and everything, is still a lot of that influencing us to this day. And I can appreciate it too. I can appreciate everything about culture, about us, about who we are.
Because I got Japanese tattoos on my arms, and some people think, oh, you Blasian? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I just like the culture and their art and their look and their, the writing. So I respect it. Like, I have a tattoo on my arm right now that says never give up. And it's true. I never give up. If I gave up and just decided to work in the food service industry after I got my degree, I would not. I would be miserable, honestly. I worked at Lowe's for 3 years, and that hit me real hard when I realized I was working some long hours, and I was like, bro, this is not the life I want to live. I don't want to feel like I live in a garage for the rest of my life, And so, yeah, that's why I never gave up. I always made sure that I was going towards that goal. That's why I see that in you. I see that in you, and I'm just like another driven person. I love people that are like that. The more you're around those kind of people, the better you feel, and the more you feel like you're in the right direction, and better you get challenged. Yeah, you want to do better every time.
Absolutely. No, it's always good. That's probably one of the biggest things for me right now. Just putting that battery in people's back, like making them understand, like, dude, you don't have
that expression.
Yeah,
I love that. I'm using that next time.
Yeah, put a battery in
people's
back. Like, you have to. It's like, dude, you don't understand, like, how big this world is. You don't understand. Like, yeah, it's like, it's so many things that we can do. Like, I don't hear, I want to be an actor. I want to be, in plays. I want to write scripts. I want to do all of that. I want to be on late night TV show. Why can't I do all of that? Snoop Dogg do it. Snoop Dogg does every fucking
Snoop Dogg don't care. Wasn't he on that show with Martha
Stewart, yeah.
Like, it's the two different types of people, but low key behind the scenes, same energy, low key. Same energy.
Same energy. And I can appreciate all of that. So, I think, what do you have next moving forward? Like, what do you see? Because you seem like the type of person that kind of plan ahead in regards to just your business, at least.
Yeah.
So what do you see for yourself in the next year or two?
It's funny because when I first started my business, literally a year ago in July, I was wishing for 12 clients a month. Because I hear other photographers too, like, they struggle trying to make money in the industry. But the moment I set my prices and made my message clear that I was high quality, affordable, and you get your stuff in 1 to 3 days, my marketing and my content that I kept posting over and over again, thank God for social media. Right. Thank God for social media. It helped, and people got the message. And next thing I know, word of mouth started spreading, and then everyone was interested. It's called a bandwagon effect. When everyone sees you hopping on board, they're going to want to hop on board too. And so that's exactly what helped. And then next thing I know, 12 clients I was wishing for turned into 12 clients I was wishing for. And then I was also doing DoorDash on the side to make my incomes meet, because photography wasn't paying my bills right away. I was doing DoorDash for a hot minute. Like, I was doing that for probably 6 to 7 months while I was doing photography. And now I'm to the point where I get 2 to 3 clients a day, and it's awesome to say that, and it's awesome to live through that. And I literally just worked with someone yesterday who contacted me from LA. Like, they're a production company. One is from New York, the other one's from LA, and they met together in Nashville to work with me. It's so cool to get those emails now at this point. Like, that wasn't happening a year ago.
It feel crazy, right? Surreal. It's like,
and I shot at the Ryman Auditorium. Don't you know how many photographers and people who are artists that want to perform at the Ryman Auditorium? Meanwhile, I'm just over here with my iPhone like, what's good?
Yeah.
Hi. Well, how long you started your business? A year ago. Like, it's cool to say that. So from now on, I have so much expectations for myself for the next year, as long as I stay driven. If my drive dies, I might be doing the same thing I'm doing now, which is still good, but I want to improve every time. The more you keep improving your mindset, your skill set, YouTube is your best friend. You can learn so much through YouTube. You can learn how to be better at communication through YouTube. It might sound stupid, it might sound silly, but that is exactly what your brain is for, to learn and grow every single time. The faster you learn and you grow, the more improvement you see in your work, your amount of emails that come in, the word of mouth spreads more. Like, that is my goal, like, is to keep spreading my name positively and give people something valuable. Because I don't like being the person that's like, look at me. Okay, cool. But I want to be an influencer that actually tells other people you can do the same thing, similar, better for yourself. Like, I feel like you get more value out of someone when you actually gain value from somebody,
Absolutely. And something that a lot of people don't see, and I know that I don't know, but I'm pretty sure you probably experienced this as well, is what goes into this for people like us is what I'm trying to say. Like
Yeah.
this thing when we're driven, we're going, we're pushing, we're trying to move forward. Is a lot of the times you'll hit these roadblocks, mental health.
Yes, mental health is so important. Go to the gym.
That's what you do to cope.
Release the stress. It's
Yeah.
it's taking days off. I've realized that yes, I can do 2 or 3 clients a day, but it low key drains me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm an introvert. I'm not gonna lie to you. I am an introvert. Introverts are known for being super observant, super quiet, and also really good at listening. And so I know myself. I am an introvert. But I have to be extrovert to communicate to people, to make people feel comfortable.
Absolutely.
And because I use my listening and observing skills, it helps me become better at communication.
Yeah.
You know? And so if I'm like, I tell people all the time, like if I walk into a room and it's full of anime people, my conversation is going to be totally different from someone I walk into a room and it's full of sports and, you know, metalheads or whatever or something like that. So my conversation is going to be different, you know? But I relate to people who are into anime because they're known as the weirdos, you know, like, or
Really?
the outcasts. Bruh, every time. But now it's like a cool thing to be into that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I know the topics that I'm going to talk about because, low-key, I was into that too when I was in high school and middle school. I was more nerdy when I was in middle school, I go lie. But I don't care. And so when I talk to a room full of people who are into sports, it's going to be a talk about sports probably, you know? So it's just, or what are your thoughts and opinions? That's a trick. Thoughts and opinions. Just get their thoughts and opinions. Thoughts and opinions about who's going to win or who has better, you know, game, who has better stamina, who has better marketing behind their team, you know, that all that matters, you know? And so that's why it's so important to know what you're talking about, who you're talking to, and be good at listening and observing.
Absolutely.
If you're not good at listening and observing, you ain't gonna be good at communication.
Absolutely.
What was the question?
And right now, it's
Sorry.
all good. It's
I do
all
this.
good. Just basically mental health. Like, how do you cope with your mental health and everything like that? Do you work out? Do you?
Yeah, I try to go to the gym, and that's another thing that I'm working on. It's called life-term relationship with the gym. A lot of people don't understand that just because you quit don't mean that you quit forever. It's kind of like an on and off again relationship. As long as you have the mental ability to go every once in a while, you good. Like if you try to go to just lose weight, it's gonna be a temporary fix. That's why I try to tell myself, just go to go, because then you're gonna get used to going, you know, and then it'll become a thing where you know, it becomes a necessity in your life. It's so sad that, I don't know if it's just a black person thing, but I feel like black people are just not raised to think that going to the gym should be a regular. No different from eating and sleeping. We're not raised to think that, but I have to push myself to do that so I can have a healthier lifestyle and a healthier mindset. There are other advocates to have a better mindset. It's called meditation. Like, I used to think meditation were for hippies, but honestly, it's not. It's honestly a moment where you just sit there and have the time to let your brain process on what you should be thinking about.
Absolutely.
You know, sometimes like when you have a conversation with your friend, like a day ago, you process, did I come off the right way? Did I say that right? You know, how could I have said that differently? And also being more in check with your emotions. Everyone is so good at reacting towards their emotions. And you have to be better at not reacting towards your emotions. And so that's why I think meditation helps, because it gives you a second to think about, like, I should have did that better, or I should do this. And
you know, it's meditation too, but I often do self-evaluations. Before I go to sleep, I sit in the bed, or I lay in the bed, and I just think about the day.
Dude, I think that's meditation too.
Yeah. How could I have done this better? What happened in this situation that could have made this situation this? Or could I get better? Or could I make the bad things good? Can I make the good things better? So on and so forth. So yeah, I definitely do the same thing. That's kind of me. I think for people like us who, you know, just have dreams and just want to do this thing and have big things that they want to do and shit. I mean, you look on our post over here is right now, ChoppedByT podcast will be the biggest podcast in the world. And that's something that I say every day is like I manifest that every day. Like I talk about that
It works. It works. I remember when I was 12 years old and living at home with my mom, I was like, I wish I kind of had long hair. I wish I kind of looked a little cooler, you know? And 25, I'm like, I guess I'm here.
No, you look cool.
I guess I'm here.
You look cool, and you have long hair.
And I always told myself, too, I just want to have a job where I kind of travel and I go to all these music shows. Just get paid to do that. But that's unreal, you know? No one does that. And literally, I'm doing that now. Like, I literally get paid $80 to go to these shows. every other day, you know, and it's cool. Like I go to these rock shows, I go to rap shows, I go to metal shows. I learned real quick how to learn metal. Like before metal was not my thing, I was like, nope. But now, honestly, metal people are the nicest people. I got paid $200 just to go on tour to Knoxville for a day, and they paid for my food, they paid for my stay. You know, it was awesome. It was just cool to just be there. And then I just got to do video and photos on my iPhone, $200 like that. They were sweet, they were nice, and it's just, that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't judge people based off of how they look, what they wear, the music they listen to, the political stance they're on. It don't matter. Like, as long as they respect you and treat you like a human being, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Yeah.
And it's been successful for you as well. So you're a testament to that.
Being open. Yeah. You can't judge people. I try not to judge people that even live in the hood. Sometimes they're the sweetest people, even though they live in a skep area. But it don't matter.
Yeah. Nah, absolutely. That's something I had to learn in my life for sure. You said something earlier. Anime people are the weird people, and I want to.
They're known to be the weird people. Yeah. Oh man, back in high school, that's how it was, or middle school mostly. Middle school was harsher than high school.
But I that's a part of me in my transition and being in, like, cause I'm a huge fan of anime. So
don't get me started. Continue.
Yeah. But I'm a huge fan of anime, so that was a part of me, you know, coming into myself. I always loved, the Dragon Ball Z and stuff, and I just couldn't hide it. When people would come up to the house, they would,
couldn't hide it.
I couldn't hide it. They would see. But, I wasn't as open as I am now coming into college, just learning like, no, this, I don't have to be this. You know how it is for most black people. You got to be this street tough dude or whatever.
Yes, they put you in a box.
Yeah, they do. And I happily sat in that fucking box. I won't even. I love that box.
Happily sat in that box.
Yeah, I love that box. I love to exist in that box. I love everything about that box.
Yeah.
That box is a part of me, but I do also have other boxes that I can get into that are just as important, So.
I used to be a video game head. I used to play all the video games. I kind of stopped though the moment when what's that? It's the shooting game.
Grand Theft Auto?
No, it's Call of Duty. When Call of Duty became popular, I kind of had to jump off the video game thing because college came into my life and I couldn't do both. Honestly, video game is life to me. So like, I had to cut it out because I couldn't do both.
Wow.
But because when I get into video games,
Right.
Like, all my hours are wasted. I had to take that time of doing video games like I normally do. I had to take that time and go out to shows, go out to events, meet people, build my communication up, And so I had to, like, transfer that. Honestly, the more I played video games, the more introvert I was. But the more I got out, the more extrovert I became. Extrovert, But yeah, and it is possible you can be both.
Yeah,
you
sure,
just gotta learn how to turn it on, turn it off. Like I said, being really good at listening, really good at observing is key. I'm not gonna lie, watching a lot of TV has helped me out too, because you start to mimic and simulate certain aspects of who you could be as a person, or you bring it out, or whatever. So I'm glad that I watched a lot of TV as a kid. I know that's not the common thing to say.
No, I mean, anime is it gives you so many different perspectives of life. It teaches you how to have empathy. It teaches you how to have imagination. You look at stuff like One Piece or some shit like that. It's like how to drive and keep going and push forward no matter what. You look at even somebody like Goku of Dragon Ball Z. He would be considered a deadbeat dad, but in the sense of it, like, it's like, no, not necessarily. It's like that man went out and chased his dreams. I like Goku and Floyd Mayweather, kind of the same person. Fighters who went out and chased their dreams, and the people around them, the kids, they just had to understand that. The people who, it's so many levels to it that people could pull from. So I love it, and it's in animation, and I love animation. So I wanted to be a cartoonist growing up, but
you live vicariously through those lives of different people and kind of experience it, and you interpret it into your own lifestyle and changes your perspective on things.
Sure.
That's why I think, honestly, I know it sounds stupid, but TV, it kind of like changed my life.
Yeah, it's important.
It lets you see things from an introvert world.
For sure. But anyway, listen, I'm glad to have you on. It was great to have you on here.
Thank you.
It was great to have you on.
I'm so glad to be on.
Yeah.
I hope you weren't nervous that it was just going to be us two, because I feel like we just
not
filled the conversation.
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm never nervous. It's not to sit down. I am nervous. I'm always nervous. But I'm never nervous to sit down and just have a conversation with people, because I like learning. That's what this show is about.
Same.
We want to inform. We want to inform. We want not teach, inform. We want to inform, we want to be educated, and we want to entertain. That's the only thing, our goals for this show. So you coming on and having a conversation with me, I really enjoyed it.
Thank Thank you again for inviting me on the show.
And we're gonna put all your social medias and everything in you know, the comments in here. But I still want you to give them to them for the people who listening over audio, who want to listen on stream. Give them your social media so they can know how to reach you.
Okay, so I'll make this very clear. My name is Nita, Nita. I live in Nashville. So my Instagram handle is Nita in Nashville. Literally, don't forget the I-N. It's not just an N, it's an I-N. Nashville.
Nita in Nashville.
Nita Nashville, that's simple. Because I know some people are like, your Instagram name looks like There's so many N's. I'm just like, it's Nita Nashville. It's my photography website is Nita in Nashville. It's easy to remember. Like I said, my personality is just with my business. So, you know, hopefully, I don't want to say hopefully you guys like me because it sounds like I'm validating my feelings. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a Cancer. So
Nita in Nashville.
We can't help it. We need validation.
Yeah, Nita in Nashville. Make sure y'all go check that out. Make sure y'all go, you know, get some photos. We definitely gonna do. We definitely gonna reach out to you for sure for the ChoppedByT as well. Yeah, because we need some photos.
I'm very quick. Like I said, the introvert in me makes stuff last 25 to 45 minutes. Everyone is so happy about that. So yeah, hit me up if you're interested in getting some high quality photos at reasonable prices. You get them done in 1 to 3 days. You know, I'm very open. I like to let people flow with their posing. You know, I'm not like thumbs in pockets, please. Like no.
Yeah.
Be an artist for once and just go with the flow. You know, It won't take too long.
Yeah.
But thank you so much.
Again, we appreciate you having you on. We appreciate you coming out. This is the ChoppedByT podcast where we get real, raw, authentic conversations. Until next time.
I'm so glad I got my own. Still getting money with